When your cat sleeps next to you with one eye slightly open, do you actually know what they are trying to say? Most owners guess completely wrong. You might think they are just light sleepers, or perhaps feeling anxious. But behind that unsettling half stare, there is a profound meaning that almost everyone misses completely. And if you misread this behavior, which most cat parents do, you might wrongly assume that your feline friend does not feel safe in your home yet. By brushing it off, you could be missing a quiet message of intense devotion they have been trying to send you since the day they arrived. Let us start by looking at what that strange nighttime habit really means, and why it is actually a beautiful complement to your role as their guardian. 1. It was never about a lack of trust. When you catch them resting with that cracked eye, it is very easy to feel slightly offended or worried. Have you ever wondered why they might sleep deeply in a hidden closet, but keep that one eye locked in the doorway when they are lying beside you? Many people assume their cat is simply nervous, perhaps waiting for you to make a sudden loud move, or worrying that you might accidentally roll onto them. The reality is entirely different. They are employing a brilliant biological defense protocol. It is a highly specialized survival tool designed to monitor the perimeter of the room. Studies published in Current Biology show that cats experience unihemispheric sleep. This means one half of their brain rests deeply, while the other half stays fully alert. That single open eye is directly wired to the awake side of their brain. They are actively tracking shadows and movements to ensure nothing approaches the bed unnoticed. If they could speak to you in that moment, they would say this: "I am resting my tired body, but I am never truly off duty for you." And by the way, if your cat ever completely stops doing this and falls into a dead sleep constantly, do not ignore it. We will decode that later. 2. The evolutionary cost of complete peace. To truly understand why they stand guard over you, we must first look at their wild ancestry and survival instincts. Deep sleep is an absolute luxury in the animal kingdom. Have you noticed how your cat still squivels their ears at tiny noises, even when they look relaxed? In the wild, their ancestors were formidable predators, but they were also small enough to be prey. Falling into a deep slumber meant constantly risking their lives. Your living room might not have eagles or coyotes, but those millions of years of survival wiring do not just vanish because they have a comfortable bed. So, they compromise. They rest their tired muscles while keeping their biological radar fully switched on. That cracked open eye is their early warning system for your home. According to feline behaviorist John Bradshaw, this dual state allows them to assess environmental threats instantly. They are essentially standing guard while they are simultaneously recharging their energy. If your cat could explain this instinct, they would tell you this: "Deep sleep is a luxury I cannot afford when I am responsible for our safety." They choose to bear the burden of vigilance. But how exactly do they monitor the entire room when they look almost completely asleep? The answer is truly fascinating. If understanding their quiet, protective instincts is lifting some worries off your shoulders, hit like and subscribe. Let us help more owners decode these beautiful signs of love. 3. Micro movements in the dark. Have you ever closely watched your cat's face when they are resting near you, with that one eye just barely open? You might think they are just having a vivid dream, or perhaps they are annoyed by a flickering light or a random shadow dancing across the wall. In reality, they are operating a highly sensitive sensory network. While one eye monitors subtle changes in the light, their other senses are working in absolute overdrive. Notice how their whiskers twitch slightly. These are not just hairs. They are highly sophisticated tactile sensors, picking up microscopic changes in the air currents around them. Their ears and whiskers act as a radar dish. They can detect the faintest vibrations, mapping out the entire room layout without needing to fully open their eyes. If someone approaches the bedroom door, or if a sudden draft enters the hallway, they will feel it and react long before you ever hear a footstep. If they could translate this into words, it would sound like this: "Even when I dream, my whiskers are measuring the room so you can sleep peacefully." They are constantly processing a massive amount of data, and this explains exactly why they insist on choosing the most specific, sometimes inconvenient spots to half sleep. 4. Why they choose your lap for half sleep. If they are so focused on guarding the room, Why do they sleep directly on top of you? Would it not make much more sense for them to sleep by the bedroom door or up on a high shelf where they can see everything perfectly clear? This specific choice actually reveals a deeply beautiful truth about how your feline friend views your relationship, your shared territory, and your overall presence in their life. Researchers at Oregon State University discovered that domestic cats form highly secure, emotional attachments to their owners, behaving very much like human infants do with their parents. You are their ultimate safe zone. Your familiar scent, the rhythm of your breathing, and your physical warmth provide them with an anchor of absolute biological security. By resting on your lap with one eye slightly open, they are physically anchoring themselves to their safest place while still actively monitoring the unsecured room perimeter. They are brilliantly combining their deep need for emotional closeness with their wild instinct to protect. It is the absolute ultimate multitasking of feline love and survival. If they could translate this exact feeling into words, they would tell you, "Right here is where I feel closest, yet I still watch the door for us." 5. The science of the resting flash. Sometimes you might notice that their half-open eye will suddenly snap fully shut, only to pop open again moments later. Many cat parents completely mistake this rapid eye movement. They assume the cat is waking up because they are annoyed by a noise or bothered by your shifting. But this is absolutely not annoyance. It is a highly specialized biological feature of their unique sleep cycle, perfectly designed for instant physical reactions to hidden dangers. Unlike humans, cats experience very short, intense periods of deep sleep. They are capable of dropping into and pulling out of these heavy cycles in mere minutes. That quick flash of the eye is simply them breaching the surface of deep sleep to quickly update their complex mental map of the room's current safety. If the room is still quiet, they dip right back under, but their muscles remain tightly primed to explode into sudden action at a single moment's notice. If you could hear their thoughts, they would say this: "Do not wake me up. I am already calculating the very next move to keep this space secure." So the next time you see that quick twitch, do not try to soothe them back to sleep. Just let their natural radar do its very important job. 6. When the half-open eye completely disappears. We need to discuss exactly what happens when this lifelong vigilant habit suddenly stops happening entirely out of nowhere. This is the critical shift I promised you at the very start of our video, and it is something every cat owner needs to understand before ignoring it. If your cat has always been a vigilant sleeper, but suddenly starts sleeping like a rock and ignoring sounds, many owners wrongly think they are finally completely comfortable. But if a watchful cat suddenly stops running their biological defense protocol entirely, it is often a silent alarm. They might be physically exhausted or hiding an illness. According to veterinary behaviorists, a drastic in deep and unresponsive sleep can actually be an early sign of cognitive decline in older cats, or even severe pain. When they are suffering quietly, their energy is completely depleted just trying to heal their body. They simply no longer have the reserves to keep watch over you. This alarming change in their daily resting baseline is exactly why you should bring them to the clinic for a thorough checkup, rather than assuming they are lazy. If they could somehow find the exact words to explain why their guard has suddenly dropped, it would probably sound a little bit like this right now. "I am far too tired to watch the door today. My shield is slipping from my hands, and this is exactly when I need you to protect me." Your feline friend has spent their entire life monitoring the dark corners and invisible shadows just to keep your shared territory perfectly secure while you are peacefully resting. When they can no longer maintain that steady watch, they are entirely relying on you to step up and take over the duty of guarding the family home. That tiny cracked open eye you see every night is absolutely never a sign of doubt. It is not anxiety, and it is certainly not a lack of trust. It is a quiet and incredibly beautiful shield held up for you in the dark by a tiny wild predator who deeply loves your warm and safe presence. It is the ultimate silent proof that out of absolutely everything in this big, scary world, you are their entire universe to fiercely love and protect forever.